There's no bigger thrill than the ball hitting the back of the net, and these two were born to score goals. Marco van Basten and Jurgen Klinsmann, two of Europe's elite marksmen, two of the greatest goal scorers the world has ever seen. Hello and welcome to Van Basten-Klinsmann head-to-head. They were both match winners whose goals won titles and trophies. But which centre-forward takes centre stage? We have outstanding experts to help answer this question. None more so than Golden Boot winner Gary Lineker, England midfielder Jermaine Jenas, who's provided the ammunition for many a forward, Gianfranco Zola, who's played against both men in the top flight of Italian football, and Lothar Matthäus, who won the World Cup for Germany with his teammate Jurgen Klinsmann in 1990. Great to have you all here. Our head-to-head format is this. The players will be judged on the following criteria: skills, goals, set pieces, team player, big moments, and legend. After each area is discussed, our panel will declare who they believe was superior. If the vote is tied, I will make the final judgment. My decision will be based on who I think has the strongest claim from the argument that's been presented to me. So up for debate first, it's skills. Was one more skillful than the other? Whose technical abilities meant they could score the goals they did? These are their stats at major events. Remember, goals are still to come. Similar numbers for dribbling, Van Basten slightly more involved in general play. Lothar, we have to start with you. One was a teammate. So, in your considered opinion, which was more technically gifted?
Jurgen was not a great technical football player. He was coming more from his mentality. He know where he has to be in the box, but technically was not his quality. But he was fighting. He was giving always his best. He was motivate the players, and he never give up. This was a quality of Jurgen. Van Basten, very good technique, and you can play with him. Football with Jurgen was sometimes not possible. Franz Beckenbauer in the quarterfinal in World Cup 90, he told, don't give the ball to Jurgen anymore because then we go always in the contact, I guess. And this after the game against Holland where he played brilliant. This is Jurgen.
Gary, you had your battles with both those teams. What about the players themselves? How do they measure up technique-wise?
Jurgen was, as Lothar quite rightly said, was a hugely enigmatic footballer. He used to remind me of a young horse, and in the way he strode out his long legs. And when it comes to skill, Marco van Basten was a beautifully skillful footballer. I mean, he had such a sublime touch. He could score beautiful goals. He was very graceful for a centre forward. He had all the aspects you would need for kind of the perfect number 9.
Gianfranco, how did they perform in Italy at a time when defence was very much in the ascendancy?
Both of them, they were very impressive. They had a big impact on the Italian football. Of course, we got down to skills. Van Basten was really outstanding. He didn't look like he was a centre forward in those years. Normally, the strikers were big, were powerful. He was completely opposite, so gracious with in movements and touch and control.
And if you were playing with them, Jermaine, who would you be looking for?
Van Basten, if I'm totally honest, it's pretty easy, but that's not being disrespectful to Jurgen Klinsmann. I would say that this is, of the categories, this is probably the easier one for us all to discuss. But some strikers, they don't pride themselves on skills. I played with Michael Owen, for England, and he was another striker that if you asked him to do 50 kick-ups, he'd go, no, I don't want to do that.
Got another one over here.
Well, it's true. Some strikers are like, that's just not my game. I'll make runs and I'll put the ball in the back of the net, and that's all you need me for. I don't get involved in anything else. So, yeah, I think you know where I'm sat on this one.
Yeah, not much room for debate in this one. Let's take the vote then. Jermaine, you go first.
Marco van Basten.
Lothar.
Yes, in this category, Marco van Basten.
Gianfranco.
Van Basten.
Unanimous.
Unanimous. Marco van Basten gets the first point on the board for skills. Next up, the key category. It's time we talked about the goals. Well, these two were just about as good as it gets with the goal in front of them, masters of their craft. At the major events, Klinsmann scored many more goals, although he played more than twice the number of minutes. At club level, the Dutchman scored at almost twice the rate of the German. So, Gary, we have to start with you. Just describe the types of goal scorer they both were.
Well, they were both prolific, excellent players. Marco van Basten could probably score more exquisite goals. Jurgen was, he was an athlete. He was one of those try-hard players. He could bring everything he had in his game, he would bring out. And great mental strength, and great performer in big matches as well, of course. And he scored very spectacular goals as well. And we saw him here, didn't we, playing for Tottenham as well for quite a while.
With his mentality, with his energy, he really gives so much to the team, and this helped him the same a lot. He scored 16 goals in the Europe League. In 1996, when we won with Bayern Munich, he scored for Tottenham a lot of goals, and he was a top scorer a couple of times in Germany. Sure, when you look for the elegance of the field, this is talking about Van Basten, but we speak now about the number of goals and how many goals he was doing. I remember Van Basten, beautiful goal in the European Championship final 1988 against Russia. In the semi-final, he scored in the last minute against Germany and kick us out. I have a bad memory about Marco Van Basten. And Jurgen, with his goals, he helped me to win titles. And especially he scored a very important goal against Holland on the way to win the World Cup. And Jurgen scored a fantastic goal in this game too. But he was always, when we come from the wing, he was always in the right position to score.
You won the World Cup in '90, did you? I've forgotten it.
But nobody can stop us.
No, I remember it well.
The penalty stopped the English team.
Back to the Van Basten-Klinsmann rivalry, Gianfranco. If we are going to bring it down to numbers, the fact that Marco Van Basten did so well at club level, should he have done better at international level, do you think?
Yeah, it's fair to say that unfortunately for all of us, his career ended up early because of the injury. But maybe could have done better. He had the potential, but like many times the Dutch teams, they had so much potential, but then in big competitions, they didn't fulfill their expectations.
Jermaine, Gianfranco mentioned the fact that injury cut short Marco Van Basten's career. Do you feel that we missed out on a whole host of goals that we could have had from him?
You can't shy away from that fact that the numbers would have been far greater, not only because of how short it was, but that period of time in a footballer's career, from the age of 28, that 4-year period that you've got, you're almost a different player. You kind of... He amassed a huge amount of experience, even at a young age. So you can imagine the player he would have been for those 4 years. Taking
all of that into account then, including what it meant personally, Lothar?
I think Jurgen, for the goals, he was a fantastic player. Maybe not so nice goals like Van Basten in the technical style, but I give my vote to Jurgen.
OK, and Gianfranco?
No, I go for Marco.
Gary?
Yeah, Van Basten, just two terrific goal scorers, very different footballers, but Van Basten was a master striker.
Go on then, Jermaine, who are you going to go for?
I'm gonna go with Jurgen on this particular category, yeah.
So that makes it 2-2, which means the decision kind of rests in my hands, but I think that in terms of the numbers, rather than the style, because that's represented better in the skills category, I think we can give this one
Fair enough.
to Jurgen Klinsmann. Next up, it's set pieces, although we're going to be lenient in how we judge this one. So for these two, we're going to count their effectiveness with set pieces, including penalties and on the end of set pieces, which is probably fairer. Jermaine, who would you prefer to see on the end of a free kick out of these two?
Ooh.
Difficult.
It actually is. I mean, I don't remember Van Basten being the kind of powerful, climbing over somebody type. I don't remember that from Van Basten. Where I remember occasions with Klinsmann kind of pulling onto the back post or getting across a marker on the near post. I wouldn't, say it was any of their really powerful traits that they had. I've got an idea of where I'm leaning.
OK. Gary, talk to me more about the art of finding space in a crowded area.
Well, it's a real important art, particularly from set pieces and notably corners. But I would guarantee that I would score 5-6 goals a season from corners, even though I was relatively short. But I used to stand on the keeper and then as the ball come over, just move off a little bit, find a little bit of space. Klinsmann was good at that. Marco, slightly different kind of player. Wasn't your quintessential poacher. And so it's, I've never really seen either of them hit too many free kicks or take too many set pieces. So it'd probably come down to who can find the space in the area.
Lothar, did Jurgen Klinsmann take a few free kicks?
No,
Handful,
because
maybe.
we had another players in the team. Like Gianfranco didn't get the shots in Naples when Maradona was playing with him. He has to give him the ball and then he has to go away. No, Klinsmann sure was not somebody who kicked the free kick. After the corner kicks, he scored many goals because he come in this. He get the second ball from 2 meters. He kicked the ball in. He had this feeling, but he didn't make free kicks or penalties. We had another players, and I think Marco was in this way, especially by the penalties. He was very good. He scored a lot of penalties, and for this I see him in this category a little bit ahead than Jurgen.
Yeah, for such a technically gifted player, he was also a very effective penalty taker.
No, he was considered the best. I remember that because he was said to be the coolest of all. But in scoring from free kicks taken by others, they were both excellent.
So in our extended understanding of set pieces, who are you going to vote for?
If we mean as penalties, I go for Van Basten.
Gary?
Well, I just think this is a really unique opportunity because it boils down to penalties, and it's the one time that perhaps Germany will not win a penalty shootout. So I'll go Van Basten.
All right. And Jermaine?
I think the penalty element makes me go with Van Basten.
Yes, I can follow only the another 3 minds and give the same my voice to Van Basten.
So set pieces in that extended definition, which includes penalties, it is Marco van Basten. So we're 3 categories down, which makes it half-time, but some big decisions and plenty of debate still to come.